him his. And this is Haseena Shaheed-Jackson, who is part of the Love Yourself First conference. We're doing a little pre-conference conversation. Say that three times fast. Pre-conference conversation. Dun,
Yeah,
dun,
you go
dun.
right ahead.
I just slow it down a little bit. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and we're here to answer your questions about what it means to love yourself. We're going to have a conversation here. We'll be on here for about 20, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I said 20 minutes. Look at her face. She's like, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So this is how the conference is going to be. We're just having a really fun time, and I brought Hasina on because she has a wealth of expertise when it comes to leading women, especially Black women, through some most of the difficult times when it comes to challenging themselves. Because often we are told that we can't challenge, or we don't have the right skills, or we don't have the right tools or the know-how. We don't have anybody who resembles us in positions that have power. So we don't know what to do. But Hasina has dedicated her life to filling that gap, to helping other women fill that gap too. So I said enough about her. I'm gonna let her talk about herself right now. Hasina, tell us a bit about who you are and what you do for your clients.
Well, you've kind of touched on a little bit of it. I mean, my background goes, I began to write inspirational messages to friends and family. And one of the things they were asking me, they was like, well, who writes these messages? And I said, I write them. And they were amazed. And so that launched me on the path of writing my books, the daily word books. But then from there, I saw the patterns in my life, the jobs that I had held, the positions that I've held, and the places I've been, where I was always placed into a corner where people wanted to tell me to be quiet. It wasn't, I wasn't participating. I was just there. Many times when I walked into the room, I didn't see people who looked necessarily like me. But then I was told a lot of times by my supervisors, well, you come across too strong. You need to tone it down some, or you you are very, you have such, and they really wanted to place me into a box that I just didn't fit in. And I feel that we shouldn't allow ourselves to be placed into a box just because it makes someone else uncomfortable. We need to be our authentic and true self. And then it's okay to be vulnerable too, because even though I am a strong person, I do hurt. And I should be able to build a community of women and like-minded women where we can come together and have those discussions, where we can let down those, that face mask and those barriers that keep us from being our true self with others, so that we can
Yeah.
move forward. So it's a need to move forward in a community.
I've heard it's exhausting to be a strong Black woman. I've heard that it's exhausting to have the burden of everything placed upon you. Now, I was raised by a strong Black woman, and when I look back, it's a single Black woman who is doing all the work, the emotional, the physical, the mental, the emotional stuff that I didn't even know of as a kid. But as I grow up, it's like people have Black people, Black women sometimes hold that as a thing, like, I'm a strong Black woman and I can't let anything in. I can't, because everything else is going to fall apart. It has to be so exhausting. So when you talk about letting your guard down or letting it out, how do you do that? How do you help people do that?
Well, one, we have to know that we are not alone. We're not created to be alone.
Mm,
And there's no way that I'm going to be able to accomplish the things that I do today thinking that I'm an island all by myself. So you have to surround yourself. Look at that circle of people that you really call your circle, because over time, my circle has changed too. The people that were with me when I was in grammar school are not the same people who are with me today as I've progressed in my life. But I do have probably two friends that have been in my circle since grammar school and college. And those are two peers who we have helped sharpen each other. We lean on each other. But it's also looking to see who else you need to include in your network that can help you become your best self. I mean, so do I need to have I have an accountability partner. I have someone that coaches me. And it's not all females too. I must say that because I'm not just saying that we surround ourselves with only just females, because we need to have a diverse group of people that help support us, because if if we all are similar, then we really have a false sense of
Yeah.
reality of what the world is like.
It becomes like an echo chamber. Essentially, you're just saying the same things back to each other. Things are frustrating, and this is what my life is like. But you never really get to see what other people are doing and maybe help support and imagine what other people are seeing. So it's kind of like I I'm thinking about this in my own sense of when I moved from working in a warehouse. I used to unload trucks in the warehouse, and then I got promoted to work in the corporate office of that company. And it was like a whole different place. All these people seemed like they had a whole different life of things that I just couldn't even imagine.
Mhm.
Right. And it's being in that new environment with new people or close exposure to people who can take you to places like that is just really, really important to expand our minds.
And and just like I started a group back in, I want to say November, it's called the Empowered Woman Collective. And it's a
Mm.
community that I'm building of women who are looking to not just survive but thrive, and surround themselves with like-minded women so we can help lift each other up and move us forward into higher levels of achievement in our life. And so it's a safe environment. I mean, we sit and we can have conversations about what our challenges are, what we can celebrate together, and maybe what is an opportunity, because it's all about how we can come together to grow. Because
Absolutely.
I'm a big person about growing. I think we have to be intentional in our growth, and we cannot believe that just because I've arrived at a certain destination that it's it, because life is supposed to be a journey, a continuous journey. And so my group is not just for women who are working, because I've had some women who approach me and say, "Well, I'm not working a job," but you are trying to grow professionally. I mean, in your personal life, correct? So know that this group is for all walks of life. It's not just about your professional development; it's for your personal development as well.
So, in what ways does it help with the personal development? Because we really love to separate that personal and professional life. And what I've noticed is that people are really, really apt to spend money and resources and time on growing themselves professionally, but they're not paying attention as much to the personal side of it. Like, people really are interested in a coach for career growth, and I know you help out women with that, but what about the other things that contribute to the life that you have as a career, like your career? So how do you find people, how do you convince people, or how do you see the the value in focusing on that personal life?
Because you are a holistic person. So we're not in segments. We're not just a person that exists because of a professional life. We also exist because of our personal life. And our personal life deals with our health, our family, our spiritual connections, and what are we doing in our community. So all those things need to come into play. Like we recently had a conversation in the Women's Collective group about resetting. And resetting is not just, and so one woman shared things about what's going on with her family, on how she was a horrible person, where her career was more important than her family. So in terms of that, she really lost a connection with her child and her husband, and had to rebuild that connection because she was so focused on having a career that she lost sight of the fact that life is not just about a career, it's about your personal side as well. And you need to learn how to balance the two. I know my husband and I have a conversation about that a lot too, because I am in school and I'm working on my business. And he'll say, "Cena, but what about our personal life?" So I make it a point. Like if somebody say, "Well, let's meet on Friday." Nah, Friday isn't. is not going to happen because I have to set aside time for my family time. And then I also have Sunday as family time and sometimes on Saturday too. But he understands that I have to study, I have to spend time in my on the business, but I also have to take care of the time that needs to be devoted to my family side.
So you make sure that you make time for your husband and other things, and because we are holistic. I mean, we're not in a silo. We can't just separate our lives or compartmentalize pieces of our lives. Our finances affect, our social situations, where
They're
we
all
go.
interconnected.
All of it's
Yeah.
interconnected.
And you got to have some non-negotiables.
Oh,
There has to be some non-negotiables when it comes to your life too.
what do you mean non-negotiables?
In terms of, like I just said, quality time with your family on, let's say, a Friday night might be a date night, and somebody might pop in and say, "But Hasina, we can meet." No, we cannot, because I already have date night planned. You know what I'm saying? Some things are non-negotiables, and some things that don't infringe on the other. Like people have meetings at 6 o'clock in the evening, but a lot of times me and my husband eat at 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm not showing it. I mean, so I make it a point that we eat together
Hmm.
like we're supposed to have that time to talk about our day, because I want to understand what happened with him, and he wants to know what happened with me. And it might just be an hour, but the point is that you have to have some non-negotiables. Now, you need to be flexible too. Just like tonight, we're here having a conversation. So of course, we're not going to have dinner at 6 o'clock, but I'm still going to have my time where I go sit with him, and we see what happened with him for the day. Before I jumped on here with you to have this conversation, he needed some help with something, and I said, "Well, let me see what you need." And because I want to make sure that I'm doing my part to be supportive as a spouse to him.
Absolutely. You have to keep those kind of relationships going. Don't forget about the people that have helped you get to where you're going. Don't forget about the people that are looking for you when you're done working. They really want to be connected to you, because if you pay attention, if you're not listening to them, if you don't pay attention to them, they're not going to stay around. They're just not. They're going to feel like they're neglected, or there's something more important to them. And in actuality, and my own experience, is that I found that there's nothing more important than the connections that I have with people. The work is always going to be there. I know one thing that I used to do, especially, when the pandemic, COVID started and people started living at work. I was one of those people. Instead of working at home, I was living at work, and no separation. I was like, I would open my laptop and I would start working on my work, and I would watch some TV. And I just thought, well, it's 8 p.m. This report takes maybe an hour to run. Let me just click a couple buttons and run that report. And there was no separation of work. If I
Mm-hmm.
had somebody, I'm single, I don't have any kids or anything, but if I had somebody, that would be just a huge disrespect or a huge disregard for the space that, that they're there taking up with me, the support that they want. And I found that even though I didn't have anybody, or I wasn't dating, I was single, I felt myself just really frustrated and confused, and had no understanding more of myself, because the only thing that I did for fun was run reports. I didn't take care of myself or do anything for myself. And so I really like how there has to be some kind of boundary or some kind of non-negotiable. I admire those people who can shut who I used to admire those people who could shut their laptop at 5 o'clock. I started making a physical divide between my workspace and my home space during the pandemic. Like, I'm saying it's like it's over, but I'm saying like it's over. But it's just like that. You got to have that time for yourself when it comes to those spaces. Um, and you know, I'd be curious to know, as far as the other the things that you help people with, what would you say that is something to that your audience or our audience could take away, as far as, loving themselves? Because this is the love yourself first pre-conference conversation. I said it slowly this time.
I'm
Pre-conference
glad you. I'm glad
conversation.
you could say it.
So we're talking about the stuff, and how does it relate to loving ourselves, doing these things for ourselves? How can you share how this relates to loving ourselves?
I think the most important thing to me that comes to mind is doing what you love. So, doing what you love requires that you really spend time thinking about what it is that you want to do, but using your job, if you're working a job, to help you get to where you want to go. I think about the law of the two rabbits that I've heard and I've recited a couple of different times. So if you chase two rabbits, what happens to you, Coach Lee? If you chase both rabbits, what will happen?
I think that you would get like none. You wouldn't catch one. You
Right,
wouldn't catch
you're gonna
one.
get none. You
None.
will get neither rabbit. So you have to get adapt in the one rabbit, which
Mhm.
I say if you're working a career and you're reached where you and I shouldn't say reach, but you have accomplished what you need to do in that area.
Mhm.
Then you go over to that second rabbit, which is that separate second rabbit is what you truly love to do. If they're not together, so the career, if you say it's what you love, I commend you for that. I haven't found a career that I really love doing, but but so the thing is, you find out what you truly love to do, and you need to ask some people. Probably say, well, what am I good at? What do you think I'm good at? And then take that in consideration and then apply that first rabbit to your second rabbit to get to what you really want to do. So don't get stuck in that first rabbit chasing it because the rabbit only gonna have so much meat on its bone. I've never seen really, I mean, I've seen some chunky rabbits, but they don't get to be too big. But after some point, they get as big as they're gonna get, and you have to move over to the other rabbit to reach to get more fulfillment
Mhm.
and achievement in life. And that's what I want people to understand. How do you get to that second rabbit?
How do you go after the what is that thing? You
Hmm.
might even lose sight of it because you were so focused on the first thing.
Right.
Yeah, I really like that analogy, like chasing rabbits. I've never heard that before. And
Well, well, I gave you that for free today. I'm sorry.
imagine how much more you'll get at the Love Yourself First conference. Y'all need to check it out. Somebody, a LinkedIn user, unfortunately, I can't see who they are, but they said so true. Thank you for your comments. I think it's so true about getting no rabbits. You get none. You get none. But you really have to focus on things that are important to you. Figure out what those are important things are important to you, and go after those things. And it shouldn't just be work. It should leave you with a sense of fulfillment.
Oh yeah.
It
Well,
should
you
really
have
be.
peace, right? When you
Yeah.
have that peace and you have that passion. So, what are you passionate about, and what brings you peace? I mean, I think I could go on and on about what brings me peace and passion. So I'll be quiet. I would never be, I could just be a
We'll
broken
save
record.
that for the conference. We'll save that for the conference. Peace and passion. How can you reach your own peace and passion? If you're interested, definitely check out the Love Yourself First conference. You're looking at us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. You can see that there's a QR code up there. Go ahead and scan that QR code. And I'm going to leave you with this really cool half off promo code for hanging out with us. It's half off. What you're going to get at this conference is going to be a lot of speaking. There's going to be connection. There's going to be community. You're going to be able to meet with a coach if you're interested in coaching, but you have never, ever, ever, ever had a coaching session. This is the perfect time for you to have one. We have complimentary coaching sessions available for you, 30-minute coaching sessions. And we also have a hot seat coaching session for an hour by the Carol Boston, who is one of the most sought after coaches out there. She's one of the most
All
sought after coaches out
right.
there.
I'm
Yes. So
excited.
1 hour coaching session, and we're giving away prizes to help you connect with your community. So if you need tools to connect with your community, we've got him right there. You're going to bring people in. It's going to be absolutely amazing and stunning. So go ahead and scan that QR code and use the half off promo, and you're going to get more of Haseena. We're going to have special deals for you at the summit as well, at the conference as well. And I'll be there. Be talking about all the coolest stuff that relate to making meaningful connections both in your personal and professional life. With that said, I think we're about to get out of here. And let's do you have some more words for us, Haseena? Words of wisdom.
No, no, I think you have said it all. I like to know what do you. So you're going to be talking about communication. We didn't get to really talk about your thing. What are you going to talk about at the conference, Coach Ali?
Oh, that's a secret. Don't try to put me on the spot like that. That's a secret. But it's always going to be about something about communication. It's about not being lonely. It's about having more meaningful conversation. You're going to get the skills to do that at this conference. You're going to learn more about how to do that. So,
Oh wow, I'm excited. I'm
yeah,
excited. I can't wait. But
absolutely.
so when is the conference again? Because I
Oh,
didn't see
yeah.
the.
I didn't even say that. It's February 9th, 10th, and 11th. February 9th, 10th, and 11th. And don't worry, we'll be done before the Super Bowl. Don't worry. If you're a Super Bowl person, we'll be done before that. But you get some love for yourself and you go scream your heart out for your favorite team.
But I think you are before Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, I thought the Super Bowl weekend was the 11th.
I thought Super Bowl weekend was the following weekend. It's not this weekend. Oh, you're right.
Uh-oh. Hey,
Right, you're right.
you
I
still
don't
gonna
think.
come to
Oh,
the
well,
conference?
gosh darn it, I won't be there. I will
Oh.
not be there. Oh, gosh darn it.
Well, Hasina, it has been fantastic talking to you. I'm looking forward to talking more at the conference. You're going to give your presentation, and everybody's going to get to know more about what it is that you do and be supported in their journey and making their connections with themselves, loving themselves first, as everyone should. As everyone, I hope everyone will. Thank you so much, Hasina. We'll talk to you again soon. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Want meaningful relationships in 2024? Then become the best version of yourself at the Love Yourself First 3-day conference. It's happening February 9th, 10th, and 11th. We are going to show you powerful self love techniques to set boundaries, leave toxic relationships, make new friendships, and much, much more. And when you attend, you'll get a complimentary private one on one coaching session with one of our world class coaches. You'll get guided breakout connection sessions with other attendees and a swag bag full of amazing products and offers to help you on your healing journey. This year, start making meaningful relationships that will last a lifetime by starting with yourself. Love yourself first. Go to patternofpossibility.events for your tickets now.